What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Going Ballistic podcast. We're on episode number 81 right now. I can't believe it that we've been this far down. And I'm your host, Ryan Kleckner. Your other Kleckner host, Jason Kleckner, is here. Hello, Jason.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
And we brought along the special guest we've been trying to get on. She's very difficult to get booked on the show.
Yeah.
Twila is here. Twila, say hello.
Hi.
We already have a bunch of people starting to come online to watch the YouTube live feed, getting the chats in here. I know Hurricane says, I don't believe it. I don't believe it either. I'm happy she's here. So, Twila, we've talked about you a lot without you being here. So can you give us more of a fair description of who you are, what you grew up doing, stuff like that?
Well, hell, Brian, I don't know what you've said about me. So you are my favorite Kleckner cousin, and not in a weird redneck kind of way. About me.
Where were you born, Twila?
Port Angeles, Washington.
Where is that in Washington? Is it on the coast?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's
Yeah,
like a port in the name, I guess, right?
Right. But then I grew up in Forks, which is just about as far northwest as you can get on the 101. And then I moved to Alaska in high school.
Okay. And where in Alaska did you move to?
The Prince of Wales Island, Thorn Bay.
All right. I thought you grew up or you were there in Kodiak, so I was wrong. Where is that island?
It is, okay, if you're looking at a map.
Is it like on the elephant trunk?
No.
Okay.
It's on the little strip of islands that go up on the side of Canada before you get to the mainland. So if you're looking at a map, the biggest island in that chain, go up from Victoria. That biggest island is Prince of Wales Island.
Okay, so it's very Canada-like. I mean, it's right there.
It's very steep and a lot of trees and a lot of rain.
There's so much rain.
All right, so tell us about, is that where you started hunting, or did you start hunting in Washington?
No, I grew up hunting with my family. I mean, I can't remember not driving down the road with guns and, shooting quail and bringing it home. And I was little. Like, one of the first hunting memories I have is helping my dad pull out, pluck the quail. That's good eating.
Is it? Jason, do you like game birds like that, like quail and dove?
Not my favorite, no.
Not
I don't think they're worth it.
No. Well, here's the thing. It tastes different down here, Ryan.
Oh, trust me.
It's sagey, deserty.
Yep.
Like dirt and herbs.
You really can taste what the animal eats. I agree with you. I didn't like deer at all. I mean, deer was just one of those things, you went deer hunting, okay, but I just didn't like the gaminess of it. And I came out here and immediately everybody hunts deer out here because you can get more than one a day for the whole season.
Tastes weird out here.
Yeah. So guys are like, oh, you want some deer meat? Well, I'm okay. I'm not really a big fan of deer meat. Then I tried it out here and it is completely different. That's one of my go-to meats now is deer out here because they actually have water and green things to eat. They're not out there like licking dirt, right?
You'll have to have some of the Sitka blacktail that we shoot on the island. They're really small, like a large dog, but they're so good. It tastes like nothing you've ever. It's just meat. There's no funkiness. Plus, when you clean it yourself and don't ever send it to a butcher, then it's always better.
Well, and that's Ryan's favorite story when we came home with the 3 elk from the elk hunt. And
That's a lot of meat.
I'm like, okay, I got to get this stuff over to the butcher. And you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm going to butcher this up right here.
Oh, hell no.
All right,
and that's
talk to us about that, Twila. Why would you never go to a butcher? Not only because you can do it yourself, or because homemade or home done is always better. I get it, like homemade soup is better than store-bought. I mean, really, what about a butcher do you not like?
They're just not as picky, and they'll they don't clean it. I mean, I'm really, really, I guess, type A on cleaning meat.
Well, the fat, the tendon. I mean, we take a lot of time to make sure the tendon's cut out of it, the fat's cut out of it.
It's so pure. I mean, it's just straight meat. Sometimes when you're frying it up, you're like, oh, I should have threw in some bacon when I ground it up because
it's so
it's
lean.
it's like,
so lean and so plain.
lean.
Okay,
And
so I've had experience too. The game processors that I've seen out there, I think it was maybe Sievers is who it was in North Phoenix. I'm sure they're better now. I don't mean to. I shouldn't have said their name because now I feel bad because I don't want to say how the story of the group is now. But I just remember in Arizona, Phoenix. So just like hard dirt lot with that moon dust layer of dirt on top of everything all the time. Like a double wide mobile home with expanded steel skirt like around it. And that was the game processing. So it was like, you guys know what I'm talking about? Just that nasty smell, hair stuck everywhere. Yeah, I get it. It's dirty. It's a butcher shop, but that smell kind of ruined it for me too. And when you would pick it up, they didn't do the vacuum sealing and everything all nice like they do now. It was the white paper wrapped, and there would be hairs every once in a while sticking out of the white paper wrapping.
Yeah,
right? And so that's my memory of going, ugh, because that's where I grew up, was in the middle of a desert.
You know, and some of those that aren't like super high end that do a mass amount of butchering, you know, you get them in between, and I don't know, you may not be always sure you're getting your own meat.
That was the next question I was going to ask are you really getting your animal, or are they just kind of throwing them around,
chopping it up and moving
They're
it
like,
around? Yeah, I don't know.
But who knows? Like, hey, neighbor's cat died. Let's throw that in there. A little extra weight.
Well, part of me though too is I get a little nervous about if you have a sick animal, right? So when you kill it, you go check it out and make sure it doesn't have any diseases as you're field dressing it. Makes you wonder, what if 3 deer before me, the butcher was cutting that one up and he's not washing the knife and going on to the next one? You know, what kind of germs and stuff like that are you getting there? I don't know.
Right. And you can see, I mean, we've come across deer that we've shot that we've been bucking up, and you know, they got like you get into the hind quarter and you're like, oh, wait a minute, that looks like tumors and worms and shit. We better not eat that. So throw that out.
Twila had the rule of try not to cuss this podcast.
Yeah.
It's already been a couple.
Did I say it? See?
No, you've already done it a couple times. It's okay. We still love you. I'm going to try and find a picture on my phone. I know it won't translate over the camera for everyone watching, but the elk I got in Wyoming, when I cut it open, I'm like, what in the world is this? It almost looked like, I don't know how to describe, under the skin ticks. So like in the sinew, in under the skin layer above the meat, there's like almost, I don't know how to describe, maybe like little beans. I want to see if you guys can see this on there, if it'll show. Can you see those black spots?
Yeah, that's what they call a tapioca elk.
What? You're just making this up. Yes. Okay. So we looked at them and they looked like maybe 2/3 the size of a coffee bean, but the same color, same kind of shape. And we could find them trailed all the way up and down the neck because I was cutting it open. But what in the world? And you grab them, they were hard and they slid back and forth between my fingers. I'll try and get a picture up for you guys in the show notes of the podcast. You can see it.
Oh,
Kyle and I were like, what in the world is that? And they would actually be in a line, almost like on the veins. So we took a picture of it just so we can go back. And we were actually out there hunting with biologists and stuff like that to be like, hey guys, what's this? And we figured out that actually what happens is it depends on how the animal dies or what's going on with the animal, that if it has a chance to, like, I guess, jump up and start to move, that something about either the adrenaline or the nerves of the animal can cause the blood. I know I'm describing this wrong, so somebody correct me. Almost to kind of like accordion effect in the veins and immediately coagulate and pop up underneath.
Coagulate.
Like
yeah. I've seen it in deer before.
Yeah, so it was like something I got nervous about, but at least I was thinking about it. My point is, though, I'm always looking at the animal trying to figure out if there's something funky with it.
Just blood clots.
Yeah,
that's all it was. So
in layman's terms,
nothing to worry about, but it still kind of freaked me out. So the point is, how do I know that the guy before me, when he was field dressing his animal, he didn't get the bladder and cover his meat in urine? And now the butcher's probably not going doing a full sterile wash down. I don't know. I don't mean to freak you guys out, but I've thought about that before for sure.
Well, of course you don't know. And that's why you always cut your own meat.
All right. So I don't know how to do it though. So I actually found a roadkill deer just on the corner of my street, and I cut his head off because I liked the rack. And the cops were trying to get me to take the deer back to my house. And they're like, oh, we'll stop traffic for you. Come on, we'll help you load it in the back of your truck. Like they were all, it's the South down here. And I'm thinking, I don't know what to do with the thing. And now I regret it. I mean, as soon as I drove away, I regretted not doing it because there was some great meat. The deer was still steaming. It just got hit. But I wouldn't know what to do.
I taught you better.
Well, you haven't taught me anything.
You
I've never been
told you about it.
Now I've skinned animals before. I field dressed them. I've skinned them. I think I might have helped quarter them. But there's a difference between being a kid or being young and having your dad walk you through it. You know, I mean, the only person I've ever taught to do anything is your dad, Jason. You know, teaching Uncle Bill how to take care of animals. You know, so there's a difference between that and then all of a sudden you got to be on your own and you look at the animal. And you're like, I've done this before a few times, but I don't know. Talk us through it, Twila. Like, what are either considerations, like the tips and tricks, or maybe just how do you start? What's your
Well, I don't have any like fancy terms or way to describe it. I guess I could just say it was kind of like how my dad taught me how to drive a car. To get in, turn it on and go. And and that was it. You just figure it out. You don't turn it on. You turn him off.
Well, start with how we get the meat off the bone.
Yeah, so let's say, first we're going to skin it. We're going to skin it. Right, we're going to field dress it, get all the organs out, all the way up through the esophagus, everything out. You're going to skin it.
You're going to hang it. You're going to gut it.
Are you going to hang it by the back knees?
Its feet.
Back tendons. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the longer you let it hang, the better. Of course.
What about
if it's
for temperature though?
Well, if it's 120, you can't do that. You can pack it. You can pack it. This was new for me when we moved down here, and
she didn't have that issue up in Alaska.
It was always cold.
Nice and cool. So
yeah,
like
you can hang it for a week.
For what I do, like the deer I killed, is I hang it at nighttime when it's cool enough outside, and then during the day I have 2 large coolers with ice, and I basically cut the deer in half, right behind the last rib. That way you can separate the back straps from the tenderloins, and then stick one half in one cooler, one half in the other cooler, and that's where it sits during the day. And then I hang it again up at night.
Then it kind of like bleeds out in the cooler.
Right. I heard if you do that with antelope, antelope's amazing. I've never been that impressed with antelope, but I've heard if you have an ice chest ready, you drop the antelope, and you pick it up and get it cool immediately. It tastes good. So I never knew about the aging either. So when we're in Arizona, we'd hang the animal up in a game bag, to keep the flies and stuff off of it in camp, keep it in the shade somewhere, and it'd be fine, for the fall and hunting season. But I was always the mindset of, man, we got to hurry up and get that thing processed and get it done. It wasn't until recently when I hearing people what you just said, Twila, which is no, the longer you let it hang and age, the better off it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
How long is too long?
I don't know, when it looks like jerky.
No, it naturally gets a skin and protects it. But I personally like to, if I can,
then you got to
5
cut that
days.
skin off.
Okay. So Austin, the amazing chef at Quinlan Ranch, he says he does the same thing. He goes, he hangs it as long as he possibly can. He hangs it for a long time, and he'll actually hang it to where you'll see a noticeable reduction in size and even weight because it'll dry out a little bit and all that blood gets out of it.
Yeah, it gets that like a top. It's almost like the top layer is jerky. You got to cut that off when you start butchering it.
Yeah,
so you lose a little meat.
It
grows a second skin.
All right, so you leave it hanging. So we have a carcass like I would imagine seeing. Even in the movies, you see the cows hanging somewhere. So you see just a bone and meat carcass hanging there. Head off.
Head off.
Okay. Organs out. Let it go. And then when you start to butcher, where do you start? So let's just say a deer, because most people, I think deer is probably the most common animal that gets hunted.
Well,
do you cut it in half first? Do you start on a quarter? I mean, I would, depending on the knife in my hand, don't know where to start.
Well, here, where they're big, we... Sitka blacktail, they're so small, like you almost don't even want to screw with the legs.
So like the elk, we can't hang it. It's too big in the garage, right? So
you got to quarter it.
Typically what I do now is I bone the whole thing out before I head home. Right when I'm packing up to leave, I'll bone everything and leave the bones.
That's smart.
Now, what we've been doing...
Back up. What does bone everything mean?
So basically cut all the meat off all the bone, and I'm just bringing meat home. Because it's been hanging for the week. But let's just say, like when we came on that trip home with the 3 elk, I had taken a Sawzall and cut it into 4 halves, cut it right down the spine, cut it, across the back, across the shoulders. And it's actually easier for us because I have a huge chunk of butcher block. So we would actually throw up 2 big chunks and then start following. And what Twila taught us was there's a white line, which is the tendon that actually separates the muscle groups.
Well, and then like each muscle has got like the little white membrane around it. So
Yeah, because
you
each
just-
muscle
I don't
moves
know, you just-
independently, so there's a layer between the different muscles.
So you just
Now,
kind
the
of
problem is when you
pull
bone
on
it,
them.
you got to be careful here. Like, I think you guys are skipping a key part. Because if I just bone something and I just take meat and I just cut all the meat off a bone, I might end up with a bunch of random chunks of meat. So I got to cut. You're saying cut the meat off the bone, but cut it off and try and keep the muscle group together, or what?
Oh, you can once you get to the bone and separate one of those muscle group lines, you can actually take your knife. I like to use a fillet knife for fishing, and literally just roll it around that bone, and the whole thing will just fall off
Yeah.
in a
And
chunk.
you
And then we
just- you're
separate the rest of it later.
Just following the muscle.
Okay.
Just
I know,
Yeah,
Twila, we're
that's
going
one
super
that was
basic
good.
here, but we're trying to describe it. We're only audio, so people are following along. So I want to
Yeah.
make sure someone doesn't just go, "Oh, I'll chop all the meat off the bone," and then they end up with a bunch of like
no.
steak cube,
Good-
and they're
good
like, "I got
point.
all the meat off," right?
Well, you
Yeah.
know, you can do that, and then you're going to end up grinding it all for burger, or
You wanna
you
try and
got
The
whole
muscles as much together as you
stew
can.
meat.
So
Yeah.
each visible chunk keep together as much as you can,
Mhm.
and then you can bone it. Okay, got it. So now you've boned it.
You got to quit saying
Boned it. How long do you bone your meat, Twila?
until there's no bone left. Until it's just meat ready to be chopped up. And you got to always cut against the grain,
But-
unless you want to chew your meat forever.
All right, so talk
Well,
about
but
that.
before
So
you get
start,
to there.
you start at the front legs because they're the lowest, as from hanging upside down, right? Where do you start?
Well, we
Twila?
actually have it in pieces, so it doesn't really matter. We just grab chunks out of the
You
cooler.
just grab
and go.
whatever. You want to grab the back straps first because those are the best to cut and they're the best to eat.
So why does
And-
grabbing them first matter?
Well, because you don't want to be stuck. It's harder to cut the
There
the
we
leg
go.
meat.
So when there's a group of people butchering, which is usually Twila, me, and my dad,
Okay.
there's horrible chunks to butcher up, and there's wonderful chunks to butcher
Yeah,
up.
like
So-
the stew roast chunks are just full of sinewy and tendons.
Just
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
Right. So the back straps, of course, are the easiest. They look the prettiest, and you can
And they
just skin
taste
them
the
and chop them.
best. Mm.
Next, I would say the rumps, are the easiest to clean up. If you want to leave it as a rump, you're done. If you want to chop it into steak, that's another story. You can cut it in half and then chop it up. But back to after we bone it.
Well, do you bone the
So-
rump?
There's no bones in the rump.
I just wanted to make Twila laugh. All right.
So it.
So it doesn't
when
matter
you-
which end of the carcass you start on. You just start
No.
getting
No.
the chunks of meat off of it and start going.
Yeah. You're
Now
just
it's
cutting
got to
it
matter,
up.
I guess, so you keep track of your cuts, though, right? So you know.
Not really. So
We
we're
just have piles. So you get a piece and by the time you get it cleaned up and it's like, okay, well, I can't really steak that up into good. We have a nugget pile for steak nuggies. Kids always like those. We
Mhm.
have like a stew pile. We have your crap pile, but it's still not crap pile, but it's, your burger pile that's going to get ground.
neck and front legs are
But
mostly
it's-
burger.
Okay,
Still
thank you, Jason, because
better
we're getting
than-
too fast here. All
Yeah.
right.
Sorry.
So how do you know, for everyone listening, and even for me, how do you know what makes it to the steak? So the back straps, I get it; those are going to be easy
Steaks.
fillets, right?
Well,
Correct.
Ryan,
where
you
are the
just-
rest of
you
your
look
steaks?
at it. You
Well,
So-
what are we
whatever
looking
you
for, then,
want them to
Twila?
be.
So
Well,
tell
and-
us
It
what we're
needs to
looking
be.
for.
It needs to be, like look at a steak when it comes to you in the restaurant and reverse engineer that and go, okay, that looks like a nice chunk of steak there.
So I'll intervene for it. you just know what to do, baby. That's all there is to it.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a difference.
so no.
Yeah, we need you to
so
teach us.
so
I'm
starting.
not just going to cut a random piece of meat and be like, "Oh, that looks like a steak to me." No, then
Yeah,
you
so-
Kyle's be like, "No, that's roast. That's from the rump. You don't want that." No, like what?
So-
part?
Oh yeah, you can have
so
steak from
I'll
a
go through
rump.
it for you. So the
All
back
right.
straps, tenderloins,
What
you
are the
can cut it into
tenderloins?
steaks.
That's the back
The
strap
ten-
of the tenderloins, right?
The tenderloins are behind the back straps. They're actually right there underneath the
It's
very
another
back of
muscle.
the backbone
Okay.
is where your tenderloins are. So your back straps, and then you can take a big chunk of the rump and either make a roast out of it, or we'll cut it into decent thickness for steaks and actually just make a bunch of steaks out of that.
Okay.
Medium
Okay.
or large.
Now, as you're going down the rear leg, there's going to be some thinner muscles that are full of tendon.
Yeah.
Those would chop up and make burger out of.
And I mean, once you get more towards the ankle, it gets more.
It gets worse and worse.
Right. So we don't even take all of it.
And we try to shave the meat away from the tendon as much as possible. But that pile or the bowl we put it in ends up being a burger bowl.
So the smaller muscles that you really had to carve away little bits to get it away from the tendon, that's burger meat. Okay. So what becomes roast meat? What's like not quite burger, but not quite steak?
I never really did roasts.
But you want a big chunk, so it'd be a shoulder or a rump that you would make a roast out of. So it'd be a big solid chunk of meat with no tendons in it. That way it'd fall apart and kind of shred, if you were to crock pot it or something like that.
Okay.
So as you're cutting your steaks up, no matter what big chunk of meat you're cutting up, you end up with, a tip at some point where they're too small to make a steak out of. Those are what we'll cut into nuggets for shish kebabs or small nuggets or something like that. So once you run out of enough room to make a decent sized steak, then we start cutting chunks out of that same chunk of meat.
Those are your nuggies.
Yeah, that's your nuggets. And then when you get up to the actual front shoulders, there's one little nice chunk of meat, but then the rest of that is just little strips of meat. So we'll try to get some nuggets out of that. And then of course the rest is burger. Now the neck, on the other hand, is strictly burger. There isn't a whole lot you can do with that.
And I've never, ever, ever done anything with neck meat until we butchered those 4 elk. God, that was a lot of work.
Is it because it's so full of tendons and stuff, or just doesn't taste good? Or
it's just a tough piece of meat. The grain's not great in it. It's not really thick enough to cut steaks out of it.
It's like the grain goes every way. You can't ever cut it correctly.
Yeah. And the nice thing is there's not a lot of tendon in it. So it actually mixes well with the stuff with tendon when you burger it up.
Yeah, it does make good burger. It's a lot of work though. I mean.
Okay. Now talk to me about the grain. You said cut against the grain. I know what the grain of muscle looks like. You can see it when you look at it.
Right.
So what do you mean cut against?
If it's running this way, you don't want to cut that way also, because you're going to be chewing your meat forever.
So I'm holding up a water bottle. Imagining this is a long muscle. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
About as round as I can grab. So if this was the long muscle, I'm just going to be cutting my however thick I want, 3/4 inch steaks off of this or inch long steaks if I want that way. And just if I do it this way, I'm going to end up with beef jerky. Yeah, because I'll be chewing for
That's right.
Yeah.
So and it's weird, man. You can, because when she first showed us how to do it, she goes, "You want to cut across the grain?" I'm like, "Well, how did you know where the grain is?" And once you clean up the piece of meat, you can physically see it like a piece of wood.
That's a good analogy. Yeah. Good job, baby.
Try to pay attention.
Yeah, I can tell that. Even just meat you get from the store, if it's going to be tough enough. April and I, my wife and I have talked about that. You cut it along the grain. There's nothing, your teeth have to break that apart. By going against the grain, the only thing that's holding those fibers together is they're just kind of stuck together. So you don't really have to cut each fiber with your teeth. You just need to break the fibers apart, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And then do you vacuum seal it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
do you label them, or you don't care? So you just a steak is a steak. You don't label like which part of the steak it is?
We just like medium, large nuggets,
steak, back
stew, strap.
You vacuum seal a steak, right?
Well, like a bunch of steaks.
But then you label it medium or large as if you can't just look at it.
Well, when you got
you can't see it when it's actually vacuum sealed together with like 4 or 5 others.
You got like 5 or 6.
You gotta make
when all the kids were at home.
Yeah. You don't do them individually.
No. That's too much work.
So you do it enough for your family. So I guess that's a good point for people. If it's just them, maybe single do it. But if they're a family of 4, put enough food for one dinner together in one vacuum.
Yeah.
And so when you vacuum it down, it kind of smashes together where you can't really tell.
Can't really see what it is. So we label it. I got a funny story. My brother and I was up there. God, it was forever ago. We were in Alaska. I was living down here, but I'd gone up for the summer, I think. And we shot a lot of deer before we left, and that's what we do every year. Is when the kids were growing up, we'd just bring home mass fish boxes full of fish and meat, and it was, thank God we were able to do that, because that's what fed all those kids. But we ended up, my brother and I shot some deer, and we had to get it all butchered up, and We had like 2 days to do it. And we sat down and it was just round the clock getting it done. And of course I was labeling. And then when I got back down here and we just it was late at night off the plane, threw everything into the freezer. And I would go to get out a pack of meat. I put it in the sink to thaw. And then I'd look down and my brother would have written something like really crazy. Instead of like medium steak, it would be like Alaska polar bear or
Eagle.
bald eagle
Or something
meat,
like that. Yeah.
or well, I won't even say some of the other stuff, but it was just like the funniest thing to go grab a pack of meat out of the freezer. Like, ooh, what is this one? Oh, yeah, mama.
Thank goodness I didn't look at it when you were flying on the plane. What in the world are you doing with eagle meat and everything else?
I'd have been
Now
in
you can
jail.
see it.
Be like, it's obviously a joke. Eagle meat looks nothing like that.
Yeah, right.
Right.
We keep that in a small freezer.
Right. That's in the special freezer.
So somebody on here, they're already asking for you to do a video of it. We'll see. Somebody on here is also asking, they said, we just joined the podcast. Did we miss the part where Twila outshot Ryan and Jason?
No, we haven't talked about that. And
Because Twila, there are so many things we haven't talked about because they haven't happened.
well, here's
There's
the thing,
infinite
Ryan.
possibility of things that have not happened that we haven't talked about.
Here's something that I've learned. I've taken the childhood development and psychology and stuff, and I do know that when people are presented with an intense situation or something that is emotionally tragic, their brains will develop a counter story,
Like they'll block it
to
out.
protect them. Yeah, like a blackout.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of thinking, Jason told me just tonight that you had it in your head that Aunt Carol was in the tent or somebody. I'm
we were
like,
in the tent. We were outside, right? I think.
Yeah.
Were you standing up
canopy.
behind us, Twila? Like we were sitting down in chairs.
Yeah.
we were sitting.
And did you stand behind us? Is that what it was?
Well, I was all over the place, because I can't sit still, but it was raining and we were kind of under the rain flap. And I don't know who started it, but set up a little piece of a animal bone, wedged in the little crack of a stump. And we were waiting for the rain to stop. And you guys had the BB gun. Ka-ping, ka-ping. Miss. I was like, I want to try. And I laughed so hard, and you were like, no way. And I was like, way. And then your brain just blocked it out.
Well, Ryan said something about the wind was blowing and it knocked it over.
Oh, no. That was it.
I completely remember that happening. I just mistakenly I forgot it was you. I seriously do. I remember one of the collector women doing that. I just didn't know which one it was. I had it mistaken.
Well, if you're gonna, devise a counter story in your mind,
Wild
Bill
my story
would have been
wasn't
better than.
Yeah, I wasn't like saying it didn't happen. I wasn't trying to make a story like, oh, I didn't get outshot. Of course I get outshot. I just forgot it was the person. So yeah. So what's your favorite gun to shoot, Twila?
Any gun.
Good answer.
Ooh, seriously. I never, my dad and everybody in my family has just always got a crap ton of guns. Said the right word. And I just, whatever they want to hand me. Last deer I shot was with a 308.
With your dad?
Yeah. I haven't shot a deer down here yet.
You should have, but
I could have.
You could have.
I waited too long.
Well, we were on our way to go hunting for the morning, and lo and behold, on our way to where we were going to hike up this mountain that me and Twila had been hiking for days.
So tragic.
Out jumps a herd of deer, and I'm like, oh. So my buddy and my dad get out, and Twila's like, should I get out? I go, no. I said, Dad'll shoot it. So they get off the road, hike down a ways, and it's standing right there. And I'm like, shoot.
You tell it's so mellow.
Shoot.
I was, the phrase hopping mad?
Yeah.
I was hopping in the middle of the road. It's right there. Don't you see it? It's right there by the base of the tree.
So I yell
Your
at them to shoot.
strategy while you're hunting is jumping up and down in the middle of a road screaming.
No, because I wanted Dad to shoot it.
Yeah. And Dad was looking another direction.
And I thought I was being, I don't know, chivalrous.
So then I yelled at her.
I was being polite.
They aren't going to shoot. Dad doesn't see it. Get your gun. Get over there. And of course, by that time, it was gone.
Yeah, I won't ever do that again. I told Dad that was your chance. If I don't care if you see it, I will shoot it first. That was your freebie. Not happening again.
I love that you don't have a favorite gun because that means you like shooting that much that it's too hard for you to pick one out. But you can't even think of one that right now you were about to go out for a hunting trip. What gun would you grab? Hunting deer. What would you take?
I don't know, 7mm08.
Yeah, you like those?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good choice, baby.
I know.
And you like hunting with scopes or iron sights?
Scope. Sometimes I just close my eyes and shoot. I'm that lucky.
That would happen on the camping trip.
Yeah. And the bone just fell over out of respect.
Yeah, it did.
That's awesome. So any
That
other
was
preferences for shooting? There's 7mm08. That's a caliber you like. Anything else? What did you learn on? What caliber did you grow up shooting?
God, you know what? I don't know what my first gun I shot was. I had to be just a little turd.
Like a 243 or something?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask my dad. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I thought they had that Seiko 243. I think it could be.
Could be. It sounds
Twila,
right.
did you ever bow hunt?
No, I haven't. I would like to. I'd like to learn. I don't. I've never had a bow. I can't pull back his bow, obviously. Yeah, no, I've never done that.
Well,
I like that you called it bow hunt, though. That's how it's supposed to be said. This guy's like, I like the archery hunt. What the heck is archery?
Yeah,
I like the archery
hunt.
Archery deer.
That's what it says in the regs. Archery hunt.
It's bow hunting.
It doesn't say.
It's bow
Do you want to
hunting.
get drawn to go bow hunting?
It's bow hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomato.
No, it's like
So,
stiff.
Jason, what did you go hunting
fishing.
your last deer with?
That 308 that I built last year.
What kind of implement was it? Would you call
Implement.
Would you call it rifle hunting? Would you call it gun hunting? Would you call it firearm hunting?
Rifle hunting.
Right. I bet the regs call it a firearm.
It's gun.
No, it's rifle
It's
deer.
a gun.
what
Is it?
says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Twila, what's the coolest hunt you've been on?
No, she's done some great cool ones. Probably your bear
Breakfast
hunt.
model.
I can't tell you about that one. Can I? I can't.
Well, tell us about something.
Well,
Don't tell us
about
about
your deer
anything.
hunt.
Don't tell us about anything that you're going to get in trouble for.
oh, okay. Well, what am I going to talk about then, Ryan? Okay. Well, here's one that was not fabulous. I have like the worst luck ever, and Jason can testify to that. But in Alaska, I got drawn for an elk hunt, and I mean it was like it's a big deal because you get deer. You live up there, you get like you're a resident, you get 6 deer a year plus a whole shebang of other fun stuff. But you had to put in for elk, and anyway, I got drawn.
Mhm.
I got drawn. My dad was so excited. The kids were little. I had, so he was like, I'm going to go over the weekend before because we had to go over to this other island. So we'll go over with Uncle Max and we're going to set up the camp and get everything ready. And then we'll come back and we'll get you and we'll go. And then you can be back, a couple days later, shoot that elk. And I didn't get to go.
Why not?
I messed up the bottom of my foot playing volleyball, and I couldn't walk on it. And I had this bone spur, and a lot pain. It was awful, and I couldn't go.
Well,
and I
that's
called
the worst hunt you've been on.
I know
What a
it is.
bummer.
It was awful. I couldn't go. I even called the guys. I was like, please, I can't go. I have a medical condition. I can't walk. And can I give my tag to another family member? And they're like, nope, sorry. And I begged my dad. I was like, just take me over there, sit me on the beach with a gun, chase one out, and I'll shoot it. And anyway, it didn't happen, and we missed out.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Now, her dad did get a monster moose years ago. It was a monster.
Now
man.
that is
and that
good
meat was
eating.
amazing.
How many
Good
pounds
eating.
is a monster moose?
Oh my God. How many pounds was that?
I have no idea, but I mean,
1,200.
he looked like a midget standing next to it when they were getting ready to start cutting it up and
Yeah.
putting it into pieces and send us the pictures of it. I mean, just the spread alone was wider than my arms could reach. I mean, it was huge.
Now, I heard that moose, despite how big they are pretty thin-skinned. Like, you don't need that
Yep.
powerful of a rifle to take them down. Is that
That's
true?
what he says. Yeah, your dad says they fall like a sack of potatoes, man. You know?
Well, I've even heard that having too large of a caliber can be counterproductive because it just blows right through it.
Yeah,
You
you
go
ruin
after
a
a
lot of
moose
meat, I guess.
Like a giant magnum. Well, you also could just poke a hole. Poke. Bullet doesn't get a chance to expand because if you get a thin enough section of the ribs, I've heard it's just not much of an animal.
Yeah.
Like, they're huge, but they're just not very hardy. They're not very tough.
Right.
Yeah, they're
I don't know. They try to take on trains and
they're dumb.
So.
They're dumb
They're
animals.
dumb.
They're full of testosterone, you know. They just want to charge things and ram things but you do want a big gun up there.
Did you ever go on any of the wolf hunts when you were in Alaska?
No. Well, on the island, if you saw a wolf, you could just shoot it. You didn't. There's no tags or whatever, just because they were wiping out the deer population and stuff.
So when me and Twila were first dating, and I flew back to Thorn Bay to meet her parents, she takes me to the beach, and we're walking and talking and looking around. The eagles are everywhere. I mean, they're like doves and pigeons down here. I mean, they're just everywhere. So
Are
He
they
was
really?
so funny.
yeah,
Bald eagle. He's like,
just
oh,
soaking it.
bald eagle,
eagles,
picture. I'm like,
I'm just
"Geez."
excited. You know, they're
It's
everywhere.
like people going to Phoenix and taking a picture of a cactus when they first get the
Exactly.
airport.
Yes.
Like, a
Exactly.
cactus! I'm like, you're going to see thousands of those.
Yeah.
So, Jason, how much
So-
do you need to lead a bald eagle when you're shooting at them?
I have no idea. Depends on the shotgun you're using and whatever choke you have in it. No. So we're walking down the beach, and you know, I'm new to this island, and I look down and I can see a pack of wolves have just come through recently. I mean, they're fresh tracks. I know what fresh tracks look like. These pads are huge, and I'm immediately looking around. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, the ocean's here. I guess I could dive in the ocean and have a fighting chance in the ocean if they come at me. I certainly can't outrun these things. So after a while, I finally turned to Twila and I'm like, hey, should we be concerned? I don't have a sidearm. I don't have anything. And she's like, no, dude, it's nothing. They're everywhere. It's fine. It's no big deal. I'm thinking, well, okay, you know, you're from here. It's no big deal. I get back. I talk to her dad about it. I'm like, hey, so I noticed, there was a fresh pack of wolves that come through where we were at. And, you know, Twila said it was kind of no big deal. He's like, heck yeah, it's a big deal. You need to have a gun with you. He goes, those things will attack at any time. I'm thinking, well, not according to your daughter. According to your daughter, I could have pet them.
Don't worry about it. They're not scary like rattlesnakes and tarantulas
whatever.
and scorpions.
Yeah, rattlesnake,
Yeah.
tarantula, scorpion, the three of those don't bother me as much as a pack of wolves that might come after you.
Oh, you know what though? Here's the thing. I'm not going to accidentally step on a wolf
Oh, yeah.
in the middle of
And
the night.
I've never,
You know,
I've
I'm
never been in a
not.
situation where I'm worried about coyotes or even wolves either because they're
I'm
normally
gonna-
skittish and running away from you. I'm just saying if I'm on an island
Yeah.
like that and I'm told that the wolves can be aggressive, like mountain lions. Anytime I've ever seen a mountain lion, you see their butt and their tail because they're running away from you. You know, you most of the time
Right.
if you're scared. But there are times where a
But-
mountain lion can attack.
Right.
You know, a scorpion stings you, it hurts. Mountain lion attacks you, it's a little more than hurts.
It's
You hear
gonna-
that guy in
right.
California that choked out the mountain lion?
Yes. Imagine that.
Mountain
That
lion
was
attacked him
crazy.
last week, and he's like all torn up, and he got in a full-on pound, like
Dude.
ground and pound fight, and ended up choking out the mountain lion in the fight and killed the mountain lion
That
by choking
is
it out.
badass.
And then I saw some
That
funny
is so
memes today
badass.
that were picking on the Jesse Smollett story, you know, where he faked the
Oh,
racist
right.
attack.
Right.
And there's like a funny meme that shows the guy with the guy and then the dead mountain lion, and it says, docs have just uncovered that he hired the mountain lion to attack him. That's hardcore right there. And there's actually a great picture I got to find for you guys if you haven't seen it, of this girl. I assume it's the guy's girlfriend, but he's sitting there like at a press conference table telling the story, and she's looking over at him, and the caption of the picture says, "Get yourself a girl that looks at you like this," because it is just beyond obvious that like her tongue's hanging out, like just ogling over this guy that just killed a mountain lion with his bare hands. It's awesome.
Yeah. That's cool. I went to high school in Alaska with a kid who crazy bleep jumped out of a truck, and okay, the deer up there are not skittish at all. They just lounge around on the side of the road and look at you and wait for you.
Apparently, you grew up hunting, jumping in the middle of the road and screaming.
Yeah, exactly. They just stare there.
I can't believe. I'm still shocked, Twila, that didn't work. That you jumped and screamed in the road, and for some reason you didn't get a shot off. Huh.
I was being polite. Anyway, this kid, and they road hunting. That's the fun way to do it in Alaska. I laughed really hard at. God, I'm so sidetracked. Like they had this show. What was that show? The hunters that got dropped off on the Prince of Wales Island.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Meat Eater.
Oh, yeah. So these 4 numbnuts get dropped off in the middle of nowhere, and they're like miserable. It's raining because that's all it does every day, all day long is rain. It's just awful, and just they like can't find anything. I'm like, dude, you did it wrong. All you got to do is drive down the road. One will jump out in front of your truck. That's all you got to do. Anyway, they didn't get anything, obviously, because they didn't know the trick. Where was I going with this story?
I have no idea. Some kid,
a friend from high school jumped out.
Jumped out and chased down this buck and jumped on him, grabbed his arm and twisted his neck and slit his throat. That was funny. My brother killed a freaking deer with a rock.
That was funny.
Listen, my brother, he drove all over the island and did not spot a deer. It was opening day. As he gets back into the city limits, no shooting, or he had unloaded his gun. Here's a stupid deer standing.
I can't see Twila. She just did quote fingers when she said no shooting.
She's
like, no shooting.
Right,
wink.
right. No shooting.
All right.
I didn't even know I did that. It's just ingrained. So he was hopping mad, jumped out of the rig and just picked up a rock and hucked it at this deer. Of course, it's just standing there looking at him, and he hit it in the side of the head, and it knocked it out, and it rolled down into the ditch and drowned in the culvert.
Twila can't catch her breath because she's laughing so hard about the story, and she's telling me I got something wrong.
It's so funny, and he told us, "Yeah, I killed this deer with a rock. You did not."
Oh, I didn't believe him forever.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you killed a deer with a rock.
We've looked there's no bullet hole anywhere. He said, I'm telling you, I'm not lying. I hit it in the head with a rock. Oh, God.
Wow.
So take our guns. We got rocks. We're rednecks.
Rock hunting or stone hunting, Jason? So that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I, 2003, had a cow elk tag for northern Arizona. I think it was the Mormon Lake area. And
which we're not allowed to road hunt here like you can in Alaska, by the way.
I know. You got to step off the road. I know that rule.
Or jump in the middle of it until the deer run away.
That's right.
Yeah, either one's okay as long as... yeah, so I had sitting in a tree stand, which I'm not excited about anyway, because I don't like tree stand hunting, which I have to get used to out here in the South, because you got a tree stand hunt out here. But I like stalking. Well, I'll tell you why. Just a second. It's a good question. So I hate it because I like stalk hunting, walking out there and driving around, so I can listen to Twila driving around, jumping and screaming. So I'm sitting in a tree stand, and even with the cow elk tag, a bull comes in and is 45 yards away from me, has no idea you're there, and you can see his breath in the cold morning, and this huge rack just leans back and he bugles, and my heart feels like it's about to leap out of my chest because there's just something I call it lizard brain That's part of you that has respect for such an animal. You know, that's so big.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And you can even like hear your own heartbeat in your breath because it's just so amazing to see an animal do. Anyway, so cow comes up and she stands right beneath my tree seat and rubs the side of her ribs on the tree that I'm in. And I'm like,
Does the tree shake?
This is awesome. No, it was a big tree.
Oh.
So this is awesome. So I pull back the bow, and I think actually, I know it was a bear bow. So when we grew up bow hunting, we didn't use sights on our bows. It was kind of like my dad's deals. You could have a compound bow, but no release, no sights. So I was used to the 10-yard feel is what my dad taught me to shoot. Is at 10 yards, you get used to over and over what that feels like. And then as you back up or change distance, you always draw and get what that 10-yard feel looks like and then adjust from there. So I'm never used to shooting closer than that. My fault. So I pull back the bow and I have to lean over the edge of the tree stand so I don't throw an arrow into my own feet or the tree stand. Right. So I'm leaning way over the edge in a weird position. And I'm used to the orientation of an arrow coming from the corner of my mouth and kind of like used to the angle it looks like when you're shooting straight in front of you. I know better than this. Like, I know what shooting at angles does to bullets. I know how to compensate for it, but you're not thinking you're hunting. And so I have it down there. I release the arrow, and I wouldn't be surprised if I shaved some hairs off the side of her skin as it went right next to her. Because we're talking, maybe about a foot and a half from the center to the edge. Sunk the arrow straight into the ground. So, of course, she kicks her back feet up and jumps and runs and comes out and stops and looks at me, and I missed her again. I bring that up because I would have been better off with a rock. If I just would have hung the bow up, all I had to do was jump down. It would have been an awesome ride.
You just boulder.
What's a big size Arizona cow weigh? 450 pounds total on her hoofs? 500 pounds?
Yeah, before you got it. I know we've weighed them after we got them and skinned them. They're a couple hundred pounds. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been a crazy ride, but I seriously realized get back to camp. I could have just pulled my knife out and had a better chance of killing the cow.
Yeah, you could have just knife out between your teeth, jumped out of the stand, right on her back, slit her throat.
Any kind of man would have choked it out.
That would have been awesome. Could you imagine choking out a cow elk?
You're just dragging you.
I want to do that. What's that called? It's not the Grand Slam. We need to come up with a new name for that. If you get like the 5 big game animals by choking them.
But you got to ride it for, a little while first.
Oh, I'm sure.
We're not
a couple hundred yards.
Riding is going to naturally be part of the process. It's just
yes, it
is. You don't have to induce the ride.
So 8-second ride. Hold on for 8 seconds, then slit her throat.
We need to go for the choke slam. So we need to get like the 5 big game animals in North America and go for the choke slam. Yeah, I got my deer and my bear. I'm just going for my elk now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Or do you call it a strangle punch?
The strangle
punch? What do you call it?
A struggle cuddle?
Asphyxiation.
Struggle cuddle. That's awesome. I'm stealing that phrase. That's mine now.
So, yep. So that's how we need to go hunting there. So you asked why you can't stalk hunt out here. Well, 2 reasons, Twila, is it's too thick and it's too noisy. So the natural vegetation here is so thick that just the woods out here, if you walk through it, it's not cleared, you will have sticker bushes and sticks blocking your way. You can't, in the actual woods out here, you can see 30-40 yards in some spots, but most of the time it's the bushes and the undergrowth grow up way too thick. Right. So if you're in a spot where someone comes through with like a bush hog every year and like knocks it down so it only gets up to like the waist high at the worst, you still in the opening, it's going to be all leaves because most of the trees here shed their leaves. So I went down in Huntsville, Alabama, actually on our property, we could hunt. I grabbed my bow because it was bow season. And right at the back of my house, I could just walk out the back door and go shoot a deer. So I got out there and I distinctly remember Arizona boy, welcome to the South. As soon as I stepped off my driveway, even in my own yard to go, it was one loud like step. And you can't see more than 30 yards in front of you. And I heard all the deer in the distance take off running.
Yeah.
And they were easily 100 yards away, but I couldn't see them at all, but they could hear me. And so, out here, it's too thick to be able to see them, but they can smell and hear you from too far away. It's too noisy. So you got to get on the edge of a meadow is the best place to get, right at the edge of a meadow where they go out to get, because it's so thick, they have to get out into the openings to get some good grass. So edge of a meadow in a tree stand. And you only hunt the first hour, the last hour of the day. the rest of the day they're going to go bed down, and you'll just spook them all day.
I was going to change the subject for a minute. Earlier on in the feed, somebody had asked how you felt about me Cerakoting in our oven in the house before I got my own oven.
Dude, that stunk so bad.
I thought you didn't. Wait a minute. I thought he had an extra oven out there.
Well,
I do now, but the first time I did it.
Time he did it and the house stunk for like 4 days, and I just knew we were all going to be like, growing an extra eyeball out of the side of our head or something. And I was afraid to cook food in the oven. It was bad. He was in big trouble.
Well, I thought, you're gone. No one will know I did this.
Yeah, nobody will know.
So it just smell like paint in the house?
Oh, it smelled like toxic dump. It was like some kid going, "Oh, mom and dad are gone for an hour. Let's smoke a bowl."
Our convection oven just blows everything right back out the front, so it just filled the house.
Oh, so it was like, that makes it even worse. Yeah, the convection oven.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did it once, but I'll do it no more. So
no,
I have my own oven now.
Yeah, I bake and decorate cupcakes. Right?
Yeah.
I was afraid to make an order.
Well, I could have Cerakoted them for you.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, because it was going to smell. You're afraid the scent and stuff's going to be in there. You have your own oven now, right, Jason?
Yep. I have my own used oven from an old kitchen tear out we did. And somebody called me, "Hey, I got this oven, dude. You want it?" I go, "Yep, I need an oven." So it sits on top of the sandblaster, and I have a cart for it whenever I'm ready for it.
Twila, do you have an AR?
Nope.
I do not have my own.
Why not?
And that's unfortunate because my husband doesn't love me, Ryan.
Oh. That's not true. I have offered you an AR, and you're like, "No, we have plenty in there."
Well, I didn't know I was going to shoot any of those.
Her own.
I should have.
That her husband Cerakotes for her, whatever color she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to do it sparkly purple for you.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, Twila, you're not girly colors, are you? What color would you want on an AR? If you could pick any color, what would you have on an AR?
Yeah, let's hear it. Maybe because
I picture you would do like a sage green.
Yeah, exactly.
See
or
that,
like
Jason?
A really pretty gunmetal.
I pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You
That's
pay
why he's
attention
a
so much
better collector.
You almost got us all killed with tannerite one time. Thanks.
That was fun.
Where
Ryan,
does the almost killed part come from?
You put up a piece of tannerite for Miss Twila to shoot with an AR-15.
I was hopping
and
in
she
the road.
was so excited she spun around with the gun.
Oh God! Oh no, that was so bad. That was such a
That's how much you pay attention.
I was thinking of the tannerite. I'm like, I was not unsafe with the tannerite.
No, the tannerite. I was unsafe.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
April hit the deck.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah,
that was the single.
So now we understand
the
jumping in the middle of the road, spinning around.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And that's where it comes from.
If we ever get attacked or overrun, we're gonna give Twila an AR and be like, "Twila, go out front and go do that pinwheel of death."
I'm gonna kill everything.
Pinwheel of death. That's right.
The pinwheel of death, where you just spin around and shoot in all directions.
That was so cool, though. It was the biggest boom.
We had it. I think we had it far enough away. We probably had it like 50 yards away, didn't we? Something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
Further. Close enough to feel it.
It was close enough to, you feel it, boom, right in your chest, and then it was just freaking cool. Better than the 4th of July.
I have too much tannerite. You guys want some more?
Yeah, send it.
I bet I have like 30 cases of tannerite.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Cases.
That's the only time I've ever
that thing we shot.
Tannerite.
There's 20 of those come in a case. Yes, I'll send you guys some. You want a couple cases of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send. I would give it away as a contest, but I don't know the legality of.
Oh, speaking of which, I was going to bring up the contest stuff. I was thinking today.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up while you talk. Go ahead.
We don't have any Going Ballistic podcast swag, man. We need some hats or something to give away.
We don't have a logo or anything. I mean, I'm happy to do it. You guys tell us in the comments. Do you guys want swag?
Yeah, going
great.
Ballistic hat. I was thinking about having one made.
You're gonna get arrested.
Thinking about it today.
What logo would you do?
Bone
Denny
out.
in the chat in the comments says you can't have too much tannerite.
Well, you can put Going Ballistic podcast, and on the back you can put Struggle Snuggle.
Yeah.
Struggle,
Where it all began.
struggle cuddle.
Or
Struggle,
yeah.
cuddle.
That's funny. Well, I'm okay with swag if you guys want some. I didn't want to presume that you guys would wear the logo on it.
Oh, that'd be
that's
awesome. I'd wear the.
Well, the
heck
problem
out
is we
of it.
need to figure out a logo. So maybe I need to go do like one of those contests.
See, look at that coming in on the chats already. I'm not the
Hats
only
and
one.
morale patches. You're absolutely right. All right, we'll do it. So I'm going to do the contest that you
Fun.
guys entered this last time. Finally we got the Magtek 300 AC Blackout. There was a mistake last time between it was the Magtek brand or the SMB brand, but Jackie has up at Magtek first defense 50 rounds 300 Blackout. I've never shot this, so I need you to tell me what you like about it or what you don't like about it. Tell me if whatever. So I'm drawing the winner right now. Let's hope it's in a state that's allowed to get the ammo.
Have it right.
Yeah, let me see. Oh, Alan B from Phoenix, Arizona.
Hey,
Alan.
And Alan, you won it. The action that you took is you downloaded Mayday Safety on your Android. So
nice.
in Phoenix, Arizona, and that entry is what.
Oh, that's a school thing.
You were entry
Oh, I love that.
1,148 for a box of ammo. Isn't that awesome, guys? You guys really like this contest. So thanks. So what ammo should we give away next, Jason? I think they have tons of the 223 and 9mm, but I mean, part of me wants to make.
We haven't done 308, have we?
Maybe we have or haven't. Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out. We'll go look at the list. I might even, if I can figure out how to do it on the contest, I'll just make the giveaway a box of whatever's available, your choice when you win. And just because they give us the inventory list. And so they say just anything on the inventory list they're happy with us picking. So the good news is you might be able to get something unique that you really wanted. You might want some 357 ammo that I would have never known that you wanted that's on the list. So maybe I'll do something like that. I'm not sure. So you guys really want swag. All right, I'll make swag if you guys want. Again, I just don't want to presume that you guys would want to wear the logo or whatever the logo would be. I might have to go like onto Fiverr or something and ask someone to design a logo. Or do we have one already? Kind of like the bullet shape of the bullet and the name. I don't know.
Well, it pops up. You have that bullseye paper target with a couple holes in it. It pops up right before the podcast.
Yeah, I could do that. With the Going Ballistic podcast, if you see it like on your phone, it's an orange square. And I have like the profile of a bullet and just stylized words. I don't know, guys. I'll try and figure something out. Words and stuff.
Words and stuff.
All good stuff.
All right, so we've been on for an hour. What questions you guys have for Twila before we get going? I want to hear the bear story, but I guess we'll have to hear that offline.
Yeah.
You hear it offline, and then you can. I mean, I think what's the statute of limitations?
I have no idea.
What's the?
No.
I mean, I'm just asking for a friend.
Next time you need to say, I don't have a good story, but a friend of mine I heard did this.
A friend of mine. That's right.
That's right.
I went to, which reminds me, I do have a really great bear story about a friend of mine.
All right, so what hunt do you want to go on, Twila?
Ryan actually has a great question for you after that.
Oh, what hunt do I want to go on?
I picture you on a moose hunt.
Oh yeah, I would love to go. I would love to go on a moose hunt. Love to shoot a tall sheep.
An Alaska
caribou.
moose hunt?
Hey, caribou is some good eating.
Yeah?
It is
like
good.
Caribou.
What about somewhere else in the world?
Oh God, wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Mr. Lucky You. Let's go shoot something with some crazy horns over there in Africa.
In Africa? My skulls will come in a couple months, I think. It's already been almost a year. I can't believe it.
Wow.
God, it's taking a long time.
Oh, it takes a year.
That's crazy.
To clear customs and all that kind of stuff, yeah. Because they have to quarantine it to make sure there's no bugs and stuff. So just assume it's a year if you're going to bring anything back. So I'm getting a wildebeest rug, which if they tell me, what they're telling me is the wildebeest rug your kids are going to have. Because I wasn't sure what I was going to bring back. And once I got the blue wildebeest, where it's like right in the light, the skin's kind of like the hair is like a blue iridescent to it.
Yeah.
Like, this is a monster, or not a monster. He's a big boy. You got to get a rug made out of this. I was like, I don't know about that. And they talked to me about it. I said, no. Wildebeest rugs last forever. Most rugs, you don't want to abuse them. Hide rugs, you just don't want to, walk out with your work boots. And what they were telling me, we'll see, is like that thing's going to outlast you. That'll be your kid's rug. That's how cool it is to get a wildebeest one. So I got a wildebeest rug and then some skulls coming back.
That's cool.
Yeah, Red Lake's
Actually, you know what?
Scotland red
I'd
stag.
like to-
That's what I want to go do next.
Ooh, I would still like to kill a grizz.
We'll have to have another podcast with you because I know Ryan wanted to talk to you on thoughts in the school and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that might be too big of a conversation to start right
yeah.
now.
Opens a whole other can of worms. That's awesome.
Are you able or willing to come back for another podcast sometime, Twila?
Heck yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because we want to talk about schools and mindset and what I want to hear from academia, like what they're thinking or what they're trying to do and things like that.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So I'll try to look into swag. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you, Twila.
Huh.
What caliber do you want your AR-15?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you want
Is
like
there
do you want like a tiny cool one and 300 blackout? Do you want
no,
223?
no.
Jason, what does she want?
I need a big gun.
Probably a 223. She's not into little guns.
Seriously,
like-
Twila,
yeah.
you wouldn't want something like this? Look at this little tiny thing.
It's kind of
the
cute.
silencer. Kind of cute. You don't like small guns?
Ah, he's so cute.
Is that your daughter's gun?
I'm not.
Hey,
This thing is awesome. Look at this.
I'm not. It is cute.
Look how little that is.
It is.
It's a 300 blackout.
So cute.
To answer Opie's question, yes, I do fish as often as I can go, Opie.
Yeah, your guys' family fishes more than I think our side does.
Yeah, I
got
love to
fishing
bass fish,
stories.
and I love to go
It might
striper
be because I'm
fish.
horrible at casting, but
Twila gets to do amazing fishing. She gets to go for halibut and salmon and stuff. Me, I got to stick with bass and stripers.
well,
but
if you guys are open to it, tell me about it. I know we've gone for our hour, but if people are really that tired, they can go away. If you guys want to hear about it and you're willing to tell stories, Twila, if you're up for it, can you tell us a little bit more?
tell them about your amazing halibut that got away.
Oh my god. Okay, so you're halibut fishing in Alaska. You might lay into like a 300-400 pound fish. It's gonna take you all day to get it up. And so
Seriously,
when you do,
like they fight that long?
oh yeah.
They're huge, man.
I mean, it's you get it up and then right back down to the bottom, and it's just and tug and pull. And
And you got to shoot it with a big caliber pistol to finish it off.
So when you get it up,
Do that again,
you
Twila?
have to tug and pull. So you get it up.
Do it again?
You gotta shoot it.
Wait a
You have to
minute.
shoot the halibut? Seriously?
Yeah, you have to. Well, it's funny because my dad used to take people out fishing, and he'd be like, "Oh, I got to get my gun." And they're like, "Why? Well, you got to shoot the fish." Oh, ha ha ha. Well, you do. You have to, unless you want to try to tie it up. But I wouldn't suggest that and drag it backwards, which has been done before.
So B-Bucks
But-
real quick on the comments. Sorry, Twila says, she giggles at the boy jokes. Hilarious. Guys, you don't know Twila. She's the one that makes the jokes worse than we do. She's just being
Oh, yeah.
polite on the podcast.
I was told I had to censor myself. I've done okay.
You've done pretty good.
All right.
You've done
I'm
great.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
I,
So you got to shoot them. And how big is a halibut?
Well, you get like a little baby 75 pounder up to, 150 is good size.
I had no idea they got that big.
300. Oh, they're huge. They'll eat you. They'll totally eat you. Anyway, they will swallow you. Oh, so we went out one day and I laid into a big sucker. I mean, my God, this sucker was big. Okay. My dad had a
45.
18-foot big
Yeah,
liner.
Yeah.
So we're standing on the back and that thing floated up and was longer than the, width of the boat. And it was massive. It was the biggest halibut I'd ever laid into. And we got it up and Dad was like, "Oh God, I forgot my gun." And we're like, "Oh, well, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What are we going to do?" Well, just all excitement and stuff. My dad's he grabs a gaff hook. He's like, not thinking.
Mhm.
He's just tries to gaff it in the head, which he did. And it damn near ripped his arm off. The struggle was real and it was not a snuggle struggle. He had to. Thing got loose. It broke the line. It was back down to the bottom, and I don't know. He's down there
So
with
yeah,
a
your
big hole in his
your
head.
250, 300 pounders, Ryan, are pushing 7 feet plus, and they're probably width-wise, they're probably pushing 3.5, 4 feet.
Yeah, about 4 feet.
That's insane.
Oh, your big ones.
And they have ivory, which I learned when I was in Alaska.
Oh, the cheekbones.
Their ear bones.
The cheek
have a chunk of ivory in it. So you cut the head down to the ear bones, you can pull out a little piece of ivory.
And they make earrings and stuff out of them. It's native jewelry.
Yeah, native jewelry.
Was that like a evolutionary leftover?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's just
like
weird. It's just floating in there.
Whales have hip bones as an evolutionary leftover.
Really?
You know
no, didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's where they when you're in biology, you first get the term vestige. A vestige is a leftover thing from before that's not used. And one of the examples is used is whales have hip bones.
What did he use it for? Like going to the disco?
Well,
I don't know.
As the genus, phylum, species, as they all started splitting off, it just came from the common ancestor that it wasn't originally. Because isn't a whale a mammal? I'm just guessing here.
Well, what about those walrus bones?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The walrus has the big giant bone in their bone.
Making inappropriate jokes again.
It's a true thing, right?
Yeah. I think it's actually a bone for them.
Of all the mammals.
It is a bone in there. It's an actual bone. I wonder if it's made of ivory.
Only one way to find out.
We got to kill a walrus.
So, is that part of the choke slam? So somebody asked on this pistol if 300 Blackout was a choice ballistically, and yes, a pistol with this short of a barrel with 223 is near useless because 223 is a tiny bullet, and the only efficacy to a 223 is its velocity. So if the bullet's not going fast, you just have a little tiny light bullet. So you either have a fast light bullet or a slow heavy bullet. You got to pick one end of the scale to have any energy. And if this short of a barrel, you're going to end up with a giant fireball. So you have like a beach ball sized fireball would come out of this if it's 223, because the powder is meant to burn over an 18-inch barrel or 16-ish, 18-ish. So you're going to have all that wasted powder, and it's not going to have the velocity, so it's not going to work very well. So when you have a short barrel, the reason I use 300 Blackout is 300 Blackout is meant to be completely burned in a 9-inch barrel. So a 16-inch barrel, 300 Blackout is wasted. So once you get 9 inches for 300 Blackout, it's all that it needs. So yes, if you're going to do a pistol like this, that's why I love doing 300 Blackout, is not only do you get all the energy, but it's fun to be a small suppressed deal. Subsonic 300 Blackout with that silencer they had on it, it sounds like the action's going. It's very quiet. And then you just throw a magazine of supersonic in there and you have the ballistic equivalent of a 30-30. So why not?
And that's an AAC silencer, I can tell by the lower end.
Yeah. Yep. This is a 762 SDN6.
Yep.
AAC silencer. I might have a lot of AAC silencers for some reason.
It's a cute little paperweight.
And these are those loads that, remember I loaded and I had like the squib I talked about?
Yep.
Those are 220 grain round nose soft points. So yeah, so why not have this small of a package shooting 220 grain bullets, right?
We like big packages.
All right, Tyler. Hey guys, if you don't know what my office is like, here's another silencer. Here's a Glock with that comp on there. Here's a 320. I'm spoiled. I love my job, and you guys help me do it, so I appreciate it.
You have the best job.
I do.
Yes, he does.
Probably 5 or 6 guns within arm's reach. So, Twila, what caliber do you want your AR? So we're going to get you an AR.
Let's go big.
Well, we have nothing but 223, so you could be the oddball and go 300 Blackout.
Or she could start with the 223 and then grow up to 300 Blackout. But you don't like small guns, Twila. So 300 Blackout's meant to be like a tinier gun.
No.
Are you okay with having a smaller one?
No.
She'd probably better go 223.
Really? You like but the smaller guns are easier to handle. It's like
now,
have you seen me?
No, I have to tell you right now though, the one that Ryan's making me with the number 3 serial number you can't have.
The what?
The one that Ryan's making me with the number 3 serial number you're not allowed to have.
Oh, you're 33333. Yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah, Twila might end up with one of the prototyped lowers that don't have the collector on it yet. Sorry, Twila. If you really want one of the collector ones, I can get you one. But I only have 10 of those, so I'm trying to sell
what does
them.
it say, Kleckner or something?
Oh yeah,
It's my logo.
Very
it's
special
name.
gun.
It's like actual made by my rifle company.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I was
it's
like,
like-
I don't just, I've got a Kleckner name on a piece of paper around here somewhere.
It's called your license.
Oh, Hydrolife said she needs a Rec 10. Yeah, Rec 10 kind of does seem like Twila,
Oh
doesn't it?
yeah,
What's a Rec 10?
a Rec 10 would be great.
What is
Get
that?
a Rec 10.
It sounds good.
It's a 308 AR.
I've been waiting
It's an
for
AR
a
that
Rec
shoots
10
308.
for over a year now. I've
on.
been waiting for a Rec 10.
Well, there you go, Jason. So if we get it for Twila, then she doesn't get mad at you getting one because it's hers.
That's right.
You
And
just
then you
borrow
have
it
to
whenever you
ask
want.
me if you get to shoot it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try and get you a Rec 10, Twila. Would you rather be in 308 or 6.5 Creedmoor? 6.5 Creedmoor is kind of like
Ooh, that's a toughie.
it's a rounding error from 7mm Odd 8. It's about
I
the
didn't
same
know
thing.
I didn't know the Rec 10 was coming out with a Creedmoor.
I hope I didn't break a secret that I wasn't supposed to, but yeah, it is. 6.5 Creedmoor or 308.
7mm.
That's news to me.
Kind of.
So think about it. You don't have to tell us now. So
Oh,
6.5
okay.
Creedmoor is better than 7mm Odd 8, in my opinion. It's more ballistic efficient bullet. It's the kind of the new rage for long range shooting. You can shoot.
You want the Creedmoor.
You can shoot 1,200, 1,400 yards
Yeah.
easy with it. Still being
A Creedmoor and a Rec
supersonic
10 would be amazing.
Okay.
Oh
That's what I
yeah,
want.
so Red Leg brought up POF Revolution. POF Revolution is pretty freaking awesome too, and they're out there
Yeah.
in Phoenix.
Yep.
Frank DeSoma's a super good dude. They make really good guns. Maybe
In
we'll
fact,
try and get one of those too.
One of the POF guys bought our old little house.
Oh,
Tell you what, Jason,
Cool.
I'm gonna text Frank right now and give him a hard time and say that he needs to let you borrow one for a review. Okay, so you can
All right.
use it to do a review for the podcast and maybe give us pictures and review for Gun University. And then you'll know
Yeah.
if you like it or not.
and if you send us the tanzanite, we can
Tanzanite.
Tannerite.
You can shoot
What did I-
Tannerite.
That's a rock. Yeah, you can shoot rocks all day. With your Tanzanite.
Right.
So, Twila, it's been awesome having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's been fun. Thank you.
Everybody that's online right now, numbers are starting to dwindle. We've lost already. We're not quite down to half what we had. We've lost about 30 people as the hours got on. I think they're starting to get ready for bed. So I appreciate you guys
People
hanging out here with
tired.
us. I'm glad you guys got to make it with us.
And no, that's not a soft drink,
That's-
V-Bucks.
Yeah, that's funny.
In Arizona, you got to have cups that keep the ice cold for a long time.
Red Leg, who's a fan of the show, said this has been one of the best shows. So see,
Hey,
they like stories.
Yay.
You guys like stories and just shooting the crap more than the teaching stuff. See, I always worry about that. I tell you guys, I always worry about that. I'm like, man, I feel kind of aimless at the show. I need to have a plan and like this. But no, you guys love just hanging out. We love you hanging out with us. So let's keep it going. Keep spreading the word. I really appreciate it. Check out Rocket FFL to get yourself an FFL. Check out Gun University, all the articles there. Opie says it has an RSS feed now. You're welcome. It does. I did that because you asked for it. So thanks for shouting out for it. We had that one contest win. I'll figure out what the next contest is going to be. You can enter the contest for the next week on gununiversity.com. Actually, I have a backpack, Jason. I have a brand new backpack that I don't want. Like a nice one. Do you think people would want a backpack for a giveaway?
yeah.
Hold on, let me
Yeah.
get it. Okay, you guys entertain everybody for like 45 seconds while I go get it. Is that okay?
All right,
Okay.
baby. 45 seconds. Go.
Do your song and dance routine.
My song and dance routine. My dance routine. So I
Did
got to
you
be
tell him
honest
about
with
the-
you now that Ryan's gone. But
Oh,
if you get a Rec 10 before me, I'm going to be really jealous.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Really? Says the
really,
man
really.
with 49 guns out there in the
really
safe.
jealous.
I have a little tiny gun in my truck, and what else do I have? Nothing.
Yeah, but
I
look,
have guns in my dad's
We'll
gun
get you
case that
taken
he's
care
going to
of,
give me.
Twila.
Yes,
Denny,
let's see the
thanks, man.
backpack.
I had fun on Tucker last night. That was a good time. It's fun to get on there, and yeah, appreciate you checking it out.
That was great.
It is an Arc'teryx, like super nice, like carbon fiber entire back panel.
Holy
Like,
crap, that's nice.
yeah, this thing is, and it's like
Ah.
it's kind of like a ripstop nylon, but it's a synthetic kind of laminated, almost ripstop material, and it has like the waterproof kind of zipper down the center, so it's got like the Y shape, so it like opens up in the middle. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's brand new. Look, it's got paper in it still. It's got the tag. It's got the tags on it, right? So I haven't. It's really for people that want like a minimalist backpack. It's insanely light. The thing weighs nothing as it sits here. One of the reasons I don't want it is it's too nice. I mean, this is like I have no idea. $1,000 backpack probably.
Wow.
That's too nice of a backpack for me. It's the ultralight, super cool looking backpack, and it's not all tactical looking for people that don't want a tactical looking backpack. It is the Arc'teryx Bora AR-63. So you can go look up the Arc'teryx Bora AR-63. You guys let me know. If you guys think this would be a cool giveaway, say so in the comments. Maybe I'll put that up as a giveaway. Yeah, I got it, and it is too small for me. So whatever the size for no matter how much I adjust the shoulder straps, the waist belt goes like around my belly. And I'm a big believer that when you put a backpack on, you wear it right with a lot of the weight. You want the waist belt actually to carry most of the weight. But this thing,
the man says the backpack's too small, but the gun isn't.
The gun doesn't have to fit me. The backpack does. So I think it's a really cool backpack, and it's just been sitting here, and I'm like, why would this like ridiculously nice backpack just sit here and go to waste? If you guys think this is a cool giveaway, yeah, someone says perfect giveaways. All right, sure. I want to give away $1,000. Opie, yes.
Yeah.
Come on. You don't think I take care of you guys? I gave away a Magpul Pro 700 chassis. That's $1,000.
And an AR-15.
And an AR-15. Yes, of course. So here's the options, Opie. I appreciate you asking, but one option is this sits here in my office and gets dusty. Or maybe I start using it, which is great, and then I have a really cool, sexy backpack. Or I give it to you guys and make one of you guys super happy, and that'll make me happier. So no, I don't care. I mean, I do care. It's money. It's real money. I get it. But I'm very blessed, and I don't need an extra backpack. And I think I'd get more happiness out of it seeing you guys win it. So I'll figure out how to make this a giveaway. So if you guys are interested in backpacks, I'll put it up as a second giveaway.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it. You guys are awesome. I think we should call it a night.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, Twila.
Everybody,
Bye,
thanks for having us on.
All right, bye, guys.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.